Howdy, mates. How are we doing today? Here's my part 2 video for Monday, December 5th, 2022. And I'm just taking this in for a moment. You know why? Because this is the very first time that I have ever actually seen an established freshwater spring in the state of Florida. I mean, this is... wow. I'm in awe. And to think, it's crazy to think because of all the years that I've either traveled to Florida and have been living down here, never actually had a chance to go to a spring. So it's very fulfilling. Yeah. Might have to get onto my mother. Like, hey, why didn't you ever take us to the springs? Because I'll tell you what. Don't get me wrong. Florida's beaches are absolutely wonderful. But you know what? There is indeed another part of Florida that is absolutely worth protecting. This particular park that I'm visiting is known as Juniper Springs. So we're within the Ocala National Forest that is in Ocala, Florida. So we're still basically in northern Florida right now. And by the way, the Ocala National Forest is the largest national forest east of the Mississippi River. In case if any of you did not know that. Oh, wow. So, that color that you are indeed seeing is completely natural. This is freshwater at its finest. Now, that being said, these springs that I'm showing you guys, they do maintain a relatively constant temperature of around 72 degrees Fahrenheit. And my pops sees this video. 72, by the way, is his favorite number because he was born in 1972. So that means I gotta take my pops out here. So, in particular, you can't go swimming in this one just because it's a very sensitive spring. So it's, the one of the most common threats associated to our freshwater springs is pollution, of course. Most likely, from fertilizers, most especially. So it really doesn't take much to contaminate these. And for another, in these particular types of ecosystems, littering is highly discouraged. I mean, not that it already is, but when it comes to freshwater springs, they deserve more protection. So you gotta figure Juniper Springs is in direct connection to the Floridian Aquifer, which, as I mentioned yesterday, is one of the largest aquifers in this part of the United States. So, what you're seeing right here is only the tip of the iceberg, more or less. Underneath us, where we're walking, we have watersheds, and then we even have karst topography. So, essentially, in this part of Florida, you are bound to see more limestone and cavern systems in which this water right here is shaping those. So really, I think the point that I'm really trying to make here is, given that springs provide millions of people their drinking water supply, these are sacred. Absolutely. And for another two, this just goes to show that there's so much more to Florida that still at least exists. There's more to Florida than besides going to the beaches, or there's still more to the state than besides the pine flatwoods. This is a whole different type of ecosystem that's supported. And by the way, Florida, from what I've understood, has some of the most known freshwater springs in the United States. So I don't know. I feel like it's not really, I could be wrong, but it's not really mentioned all too often. So, oh yeah, I wanted to point out to you guys, I don't know if you can see, you might see a little bit of sediment movement right there. Those are known as boils, as a matter of fact. So that particular water that you're seeing, it's essentially acting kind of like an artesian well, in a sense. So it's water coming from below the surface, in that aquifer that's making its way up. Essentially, what you're seeing right here is the beginning stages of seeing a cavern system. It's in direct connection. And one last aspect I did forget to mention was another common thing you'll see in this part of Florida are sinkholes, which are another geological feature. So you figure, since limestone is very sensitive to acidity, what happens is, say you have your aquifer, right? It's underneath, and you have like a little slab of limestone that's above you. The thing is, what happens is, if that bedrock that I speak of starts to wither away, eventually something's going to give. And essentially that slab that I speak of will collapse. And that is actually how sinkholes are created. So in a sense, where I visited yesterday at Paynes Prairie, you can actually find some sinkholes over that way. So, all right. More to be seen soon. This isn't going to be the only spring that I'll be visiting. And some of my other videos are actually going to go a bit more in depth regarding freshwater ecology. So, all right. Take care, you guys. And Journey on a Journey is outwards. Take care, folks. See ya.